Alright guys, let's see if I can do a better job explaining problem number 91. So you're traveling 120 miles from Ajax to Barrington, and you're going R miles an hour, and then from Barrington to Collins you're traveling 150 miles and you're going 10 miles an hour faster, so that's going to be R plus 10. We know that it took 6 minutes longer to go from Barrington to Collins. So if we let time 2 be the time to go from Barrington to Collins, and we let time 1 be the time going from Ajax to Barrington, if we subtract those two times, well, that's going to equal 6 minutes. Okay, that's the difference of those two times. Now remember, we also know that time is equal to distance over rate. So we can replace time with distance over rate. Well, time 2, the distance from B to C, that's going to be 150 over R plus 10, distance over rate. And time 1, well, that's going to be 120 over R. And if we just subtract those two times, 150 over R plus 10 minus 120 over R, well, that's going to equal 6 minutes, or 1/10 of an hour, which is what we talked about. All right, well, now let's do our algebra. There's our equation, and that's what we need to solve for. So let's just go ahead and solve for R. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by the least common denominator. So I'm going to multiply the left side by 10R times R plus 10. That's the least common denominator for all of those fractions. And I'm going to do the same thing to the right side. Now remember, when I multiply the left side, I have to distribute that. I've got to multiply that common denominator to the first term, and I've also got to multiply that common denominator to the second term. And when I do that distributing, those denominators are going to simplify out, which is exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to end up getting 1500R minus 1200 times R plus 10. And then on the right side, the 10s are going to simplify out. So I'm just going to end up with R times R plus 10. Now I'm just going to go through the process of distributing and setting my equation equal to 0. So just go through, distribute everything, move everything. I'm going to just move everything to the right side. And I get R squared minus 290R plus 1200. And now, unlike what we were trying to do in class, this will factor perfectly. So this is going to factor into R minus 240 times R minus 50, which tells us that the speed is either going to be 50 miles an hour, or it's going to be a very fast 240 miles per hour. So probably the realistic answer here would be 50 miles an hour. I hope that helps.